What up, YouTube? Name of the channel is Rich the Return Writer. For all you folks that's here for the first time, thanks for tuning in. For all you folks that's return viewers, I appreciate you coming back. For all that subscribe to the channel, appreciate the support. For you folks that haven't yet subscribed, guys, it takes nothing off you to hit the subscribe button so we can continue to bring you some of this content. So today, guys, we are not on the bike. Was on the bike this morning, going to be on the bike tomorrow. No throttle therapy today, guys. But bringing what I think is a public safety announcement, or I should say public safety information. And the reason I'm doing this video, guys, is because of a number of different things that have happened recently. But as we are in the heart here now of hurricane season in Florida, we got our generators out. We got the generators running. We know all the safety features affiliated with our running generators out there. But as you can see from the title there, guys, the silent killer. Now, we know they say run these generators 20 feet away from the house. Make sure you don't run them in garages and so forth. But I got to tell you guys, as a healthcare worker, we get quite a bit of folks coming in to the hospital that are running these generators in an unsafe way. But just as important, not just the generators, guys, but there's another problem here that some folks have incurred recently. And I want you guys to be aware of it. You guys know I like making stuff about safety on this channel. I'm not a safety police. I'm not an instructor when it comes to the motorcycle stuff. We got Ruby sitting over there just looking pretty. But what I want to talk about, guys, is having devices to detect carbon monoxide poisoning. Now, again, let's talk a little bit first of all about my generator here. I just love this thing. This is the Westinghouse 12,500 peak watt dual fuel generator. This one runs off of gas and it also runs off of propane. Of course, we got the tri-fuel out there that also runs off of natural gas. This unit right here, guys, 12,500 peak watts, is capable of running my 5-ton AC unit once it's hooked up to the house. Of course, through the safety transfer unit here. I've had that unit installed now a couple of months ago. And usually I'm running an older generator. I used to run a little Yamaha, like the Honda ones, on my patio, push it away from the patio. But the one thing that I've always kept, even though that wasn't 20 feet away from the house, is I've always kept what you're looking at here, guys. I'll put a closer look at this here. Is a battery operated carbon monoxide alarm system. And we're going to talk about why these things are so important. Now, as I was running that generator, the little one, as we were running our sensitive equipment and so forth close to our living room area, I always put this close to the window or the windowsill. I have two of these now. I now keep one close to my daughter's bedroom here in the garage. And, these things here, guys, are lifesavers. Now, why I'm doing this video is Lauren and I was recently in Orlando at my sister's 70th birthday party. And we got out of our car, got out of her Lexus. And as I was trying to lock the door, the car kept buzzing and giving me a warning that the door wouldn't lock. Now, we assumed at the time that we might have left a key or something in the car. But the car was running so quiet, guys, that we both were unable to hear that car running. And why I mentioned that is because that is something that can easily happen in your garage. The thing about it is, they say loud pipes save lives. It probably won't happen with a motorcycle. It definitely won't happen with the average Harley Davidson or the V-twins, but with the BMWs and maybe the Hondas that run a little bit quieter, unless you have that shark road exhaust on it, it's not very likely to happen to you with, with your motorcycles. But a lot of these incidents I found out recently have happened. And what I want to talk about briefly is the fact that my sister and her daughter, my niece, have experienced a death of some close friends of theirs in the Northeast area. I won't say exactly where, because these family members are still mourning the loss of their loved ones. But what we have is a son that comes home, drives into the garage, goes to sleep, close the garage, leave the car running, and both parents died. The gentleman is now in ICU, hopefully making a full recovery. But it's going to be a pretty sad thing to realize that because of his negligence cost two beautiful people, two elderly people, their lives. But what we thought about as we was getting out of the car and the car was still running was how easily that can happen to us in our home. Now, this is not the first time that have happened to me. It's happened to me also with my car. I think I was getting out to go to a gas station. As I was pressing my remote to lock the door wouldn't unlock, and then I thought I left the key in the car, and of course the car was still running. But folks, the other thing that happened is my daughter, before she was living here, my grandson, they was living in a complex, and the neighbors was running the generator, and apparently they were running it in their garage. And they started suffering symptoms, I think his dizziness sometimes, and headaches and so forth. And they started suffering the symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning. Now, guys, when you come into the hospital and we start running tests, we can see the levels of carbon monoxide in your blood. Last year, we have had people come into the hospital where it was hard to treat them unless we can get them to what they call a hyperbaric chamber. But folks, there's lots of folks out there dying, and it's a lot of times it's just innocent. Make sure, guys, that you have some monitoring. I think it's important to have these units in our homes, especially as we are going into hurricane season. For the generators, follow the instructions with the generators, guys. Run them as far away from the house as you can. Don't run them close to windows. You know, at one point I was considering running this generator here close to my AC unit there. I have to think about where I'm going to redirect it because it's pretty close to a window there. But yeah, folks, just want to talk about that. Now, I'll be doing another video tomorrow. I don't know when I'm going to have it edited. I'm going to be out on the bike. The name of that video is going to be 5 years of riding, one close call. I know people are saying, that's hard. But I'm telling you, folks, close calls mean different things to different people. Now, again, guys, carbon monoxide alarm monitors. I run a couple of these in the house. I run one close to the garage here, and then we'll put it randomly somewhere else in the house. But yeah, folks, silent killers, man. It's not necessarily from these generators, but a lot of times it can just be as innocent as being in. But this thing is, the smell is undetectable, guys, and it's dangerous. We see it every year, especially during hurricane season. But the thing that I'm most concerned about now and how easily it can happen, we put that notice out to all our family members that have attached garages to make sure you get some kind of car. You know, a lot of these houses have them. I think our house was wired with it initially when it was built. I don't know how accurate those things over the years. Thing is probably like $23 or $21 on Amazon. You got a test button here. It comes with AAA batteries, 2 AAA batteries. Folks, you know, like to talk safety on this channel, man, but this one here I think is a pretty important one. Anyway, folks, you know what I always say at the end of my videos, man, I don't care what you ride, add some protection to your motorcycle. In my case, I got the Royal Motor Drop guards. I'm supposed to be looking into some other guards right now. I'm working on that. But you know what the experts say, guys, if nothing else, practice braking and swerving. Get in the parking lot. But at the end of the day, it's better that you drop your bike on the concourse or in the parking lot than to crash them out there in the streets. Rich, the return rider, out.